8:39 on a Saturday night. Whoa, been a long time, guys. Special edition of SnowTALK. How are you guys? Staying warm? Trying to? All right, let's get right to it. Let me show you a live look at all of our different camera feeds. You see a salt truck going down Dixie Highway right now, 31W into Hardin County, E-Town at the moment. About one lane either way. Obviously still being treated out there with, at times, poor visibility with some of the cameras we've had across Wave Country on this Saturday night. Roads, yeah, getting slick. You can see at times. So Wavy will pop in with some crashes that we'll be having here at the bottom of your screen. You'll notice as we evolve the remainder here of this afternoon. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to, again, a special edition here. I'm Wave Meteorologist Brian Good as we kind of evolve through this alert they set up for this Saturday night. This is the first leg of that, the snow that's moving through. For some of you, it's still relatively light snow. Some of you, more moderate snow. And for some of you, sleet is now starting to show up in the area. And we're going to cover that, what that means for the rest of the overnight, because part two of the storm system has not arrived yet. Important to note that. It's on its way, though. And we'll go through that here in just a second. All right, let me show you real quick. Let's take a look outside. This is our snowboard that we have out into the Wave Weather Garden. Yeah, just maybe a hair, just a hair over the 1 inch mark in downtown Louisville, snowing steady at the moment. Not exactly a wet snow, so it doesn't really cover everything as far as trees, but it mainly just all at the ground level. You're seeing most of your accumulation. But no doubt, the ground is so cold that every single little flake is sticking with the snow band as it rolls through the area. All right, several things to cover here. We'll start with the current look at the temperatures we've got outside, featuring the lower teens throughout much of the day today, right? That hasn't really changed a whole lot. 13 right now into Corden, 16 as you head into Litchfield at the moment as well. And we're getting numbers right now staying into the upper 20s, upper teens, excuse me, trying to rise just a slight bit into our southern tier of counties. Hold on one second. I'm going to get up a different feed up for you all. Hang tight. I thought I had this up, but it did not pop in correctly. So I'm going to show you this. And at times, if you can't see anything very well here when I go to different graphics, let me know. I'll try to go full screen on the ones that matter a lot to you all. But one of the camera feeds you see there, that's our view in downtown Louisville, by the way, on Broadway, not far from the studios here at the station. So I'll kind of keep that feed up as some of the crews will be passing by. But you can tell everyone's just taking it. Well, they're probably going a little fast, but try to take it slow because, again, you want to allow plenty of distance. If you have to venture out, some of you have no choice. You got to get out tonight. I understand. And you can get out. It's doable, but it's just, if you don't have to, then please don't. It's just not worth it. A couple of things. One, road crews need the space. They need the time to get these roads cleared and plowed, especially when we get into the second phase of this. Absolutely crucial on the second phase. They got to get out. And two, you could easily get stuck in this scenario, and you may not have anybody come by for a while that's going to help you out because there's now a lot of traffic out there. And please, again, just if you have to venture out, take it slow. When you get to an intersection or a stop sign, don't slam on the brakes. Ease off the accelerator and just kind of coast slowly to that stop instead of slam on the brakes, or you will slide, especially if there's a car ahead of you. You know where I'm going with that. So, again, be careful. The wind has been a little gusty out, by the way. We've had these wind chills all day today running single digits. We're at 2 for it feels like in Louisville now, 3 below 0 in Paoli. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover the radar view. We're going to go to the other side of the storm system where the end portion of it, and then we're going to get into Futurecast, and then we're going to get to the snow map. We're going to discuss what we're thinking right now on amounts. We're going to get into the ice map. There will be an ice map for some of you, and then we'll get into a bit of the longer term toward the end. So you're going to have a lot of questions. I know. So bear with me. Let me try to get out as much as I can on where we're at on the storm. And then if I didn't answer them, I promise I'll circle back to you at the very end of this. There's a lot of you here. So your comments, I wish I could show you the screen, but you're like flying by. It's just, yeah. So I'm trying to catch you all as you zip past my face here. So bear with me. But we're all on social, by the way. If you want to comment, if you're watching on Roku, the Fire Stick, or Apple TV, you're not seeing the comments fly up. If you're watching on Twitch, you do see the comments. We're on social media, but you can only chat to us and type one in. If you're on YouTube, you can on Twitch, actually. But also if you're on Facebook and X. Good enough? All right, I'll start my rant. Let's get into it. Here's the one particular snow band that is lingering along 64 north. This is going to be persistent. The dry slot, yes, briefly entered southern Kentucky. It'll be a little bit more off and on for those of you in the southern part of wave country until this fills back in area-wide, and it will in a matter of time. This is there's wavy crash on the Waterson at that Breckenridge Lane there. All right, you see that more off and on nature, a little blotchy at times. That is what is going to also allow for a little bit more of the sleet aspect to get involved in your forecast and our southern tier. But right along this snow band in the northern part of wave country, 64 in Indiana, it's interesting to see where these snow bands are lining up, because that is a good sign, if you're a snow lover, of how this is likely going to progress for tonight. I think this is going to be very persistent for a while for the overnight and become heavy into the overnight hours into Sunday. So if you're along 64 north, you're in a good spot to have a wild night tonight with snow. If you're in our southern counties, a mix of emotions and a mix of precipitation. We'll get to that in a second. Again, this system is far reaching, goes all the way back to the west into New Mexico at the moment. So when you look at the regional view, this area is showing the sleet into southern Kentucky and around Nashville. A bit more of an icing scenario is going to be developing in from Memphis, in northern areas of Alabama and Georgia, or excuse me, in Mississippi. The radar will fill in with all snow on the northern side of that here very, very soon when the second piece rolls out. That second piece still back into areas of Texas. It has not even rolled out of the Lone Star State yet. So that is going to give us another 20 or so hours, maybe up to 24 hours of an active radar. It's a long way to go. So you're going to go to bed tonight. It's still active. You're going to get up tomorrow. It's still active. And you're probably getting ready for dinner tomorrow night. And we may be at the end of it. So if you're thinking, I haven't got that much yet, hang tight. I'm not sure why you're eager for it. It's going to happen. Just be patient, snow lovers out there. All right. So again, extends all the way back out to the west. Wavy's really busy. Is that the same crash over and over on Breckenridge Lane? You can see the camera image. Looks like they may be on the side. Hard to tell from that image there. I'll keep an eye on that. Okay. So here's the radar view again, closer. We can actually get some idea of where the sleet is taking place. So I'm going to switch it over to a different radar view. This is going to look a little weird. Let me turn wavy off here. Hold on. Sorry about that. I don't want that horn to get annoying. This is looking at the different shapes of what is falling right now out of the storm system, out of the clouds itself. And when we look at that, let me bring this a little bit more full screen for you all. That is what determines whether or not we're getting all snow or you're getting some sleet mixed in. When you get the all red look here, that tells me that anywhere in that all red area, everything is the same size as basically falling out of the cloud, which means it's all snow. If we know what the type is, it's all of that type. When we get to the enhanced areas there, to get a little bit more brighter into the yellow, especially into Grayson County, that tells us, and the radar's telling us, that whatever's falling from that cloud in that area is actually a different size and shape than everywhere else. That tells us, there you go. There is your sleet line that has developed into areas along the Western Kentucky Parkway, in around Bowling Green too, and into Adair County. So yes, already the warmer air is flowing overhead to change it over to sleet. You may not, and you likely will not get above freezing at the ground level in our southern counties, but above your head, it does fly over you as warm air. I know it's a little complex when you get into these kind of systems when it comes to the type changing like that, but that's exactly what's happening tonight. And that's our biggest debate we got in forecasting tonight is how far north is this going to go? And it's going to be so close here for Louisville. And it's going to be down to the wire, honestly. So your MPM reports, I know we've talked about this a lot in our streams. These are reports you guys are getting in, and you send them onto the MPM app, whether it's on the Radar Scope app or on the site itself. These reports are from you. They help us out in a big way. We can tell so far all the reports we're getting in indicating all snow for Indiana, all snow in the Louisville area, all snow into Meade County, northern side here of Breckenridge County. Then we're getting these reports now of sleet that are showing up where that bright yellow was showing up on the radar. Again, confirming that indeed that is where that warm nose you've probably been hearing about, that warmer layer is indeed pushing in to our southern tier. So I want to know, for you guys that are on right now on social media, some of you are the regulars on SnowTALK, and some of you probably have never seen or talked to before. But it does help us out if you have the amount outside in your yard right now, if you've had a chance to measure. Again, we're a little over an inch here in downtown. I've had 2-inch reports in parts of southern Indiana and just west of downtown. So if you have an amount, feel free to type it into the chat. That does help us out. And make sure to put your location down too, where you're at. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to start you off with one of our higher res models. It flew on by there again. Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to take this frame by frame. So know where you're at on the map. Look at the clock at the top left, indicating the snow bands moving through right now. Snow will be in the blue, pink, of course, being the sleet zone, and in some cases, maybe freezing rain. So let me advance this. Here we go through the 11 o'clock news tonight. Now, what is happening here, the darker blues are indicating that a moderate to heavy snow band is going to be developing here very soon. Very much a setup that will feature bands of snow, heavy snow, just, again, a few hours away from developing. And they'll be right ahead of where that sleet has been reported into areas around Grayson County, back into Greene and Taylor. Where that sleet zone is, it'll hold steady in that spot through midnight. After midnight, it will begin to advance, as you're about to see, but right along the parkways and north, that will stay snow for the next few hours here. And again, the snow will be becoming heavier. The flakes will be getting bigger as we evolve into the overnight. So let's move this along. That sleet zone gets closer and closer. All right, here we're at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, man. At 4 o'clock in the morning, if there's a time you want to be out and look out the window to see what's happening, this is about the time you probably want to get up. So snow lovers, you're probably not going to bed tonight. That's what snow lovers do. You stay up all night. That's what you do. You pace the floor. You look out the window. You look at your snow light on the garage to see how hard it's coming down in front of the light, so you know if it's heavier or lighter than it was when you first got up and got a snack about 20 minutes ago. We all have a snow light that we look at out the window. That's the kind of thing. We look at little spots in the yard that we go by. We know how much that is that falls. At this point, at 4 o'clock in the morning tonight, it is going to be snowing hard. And in areas that it's going to sleet, it will be moderate to heavy sleet that is falling, which will be nothing but ice pellets, just FYI. But that's not good because I know you're seeing some reports, and we're talking about it, that we're adjusting some of the totals, as you'll see in a second, a little lower in our southern counties at times to account for the sleet. And you're thinking, it's a bust of a forecast. It's not. It's over. Knew it wasn't going to happen. Anyway, I've heard it all, trust me, over the years. Heard it all. That's not good either. You're getting a layer of snow and you're getting sleet, ice, basically on top of that. Roads are going to be worse. I know it's eating your snow accumulation fun, but it makes travel impacts way worse than just staying all snow. So that is the problem we've got in our southern tier, especially along and south of parkways into the overnight hours into early Sunday. Problems are going to be developing. And if you are in a far southern tier, and I'll highlight the areas where in a second, but freezing rain is going to start to creep in. I don't think it's going to be a widespread ice storm here or anything like that. But I do think if you're in Columbia and Campbellsville and Greensburg, maybe even to Lebanon, Kentucky, you may switch over to freezing rain and icing will begin. That is the area that I'm watching right now of most concern, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail with the maps. But otherwise, it's either going to be sleet or it's going to be all snow, and it's going to be layered like a cake. The more south you are, the more it's the icy idea. The more you're north, it's all snow, and when you're in the middle, it's I don't know what's in the middle. The sleet ice idea. I'm trying to think of the terms of a cake, but anyway. Okay, so let's move on. 4 a.m. Here we go. 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is just one model's idea, and there are a lot of different models we look at. Although, to be honest with you, at this point in the storm, when you're this close, you can't really look at models because they're just they're throwing things out. The margin of error on a model with a snow sleet line is about the same distance of about 2.5 counties. That's the margin of error they have. Well, when we're looking at that, and it's saying the sleet line is going to be Fern Creek, Shepherdsville, Mount Washington, back toward Brandenburg. Well, okay, great. It may happen. It may very well be right there. But the margin of error tells us that it could be as far north as Jeffersonville, and it could get stuck south of that line and not go any further north than Newtown or Bardstown. And that's going to be something we're just going to have to take hour by hour. There is no other way around this. There's no other way around it. I know you're thinking, why can't y'all tell how that's going to be in 12 hours? Honestly, we got to go hour by hour. You can't really do that in this kind of a setup. You've got to do it this way. That's just the way the science is. The atmosphere is way too complex to get that much of a detail. And modeling the grid that it samples from is too large. Again, about 2.5 counties of a margin of error. That's just too much. So if you were thinking, oh, this is a bummer, I'm going to get sleet here in my area, that's where it shows the pink. It's not set in stone. You're in that zone of uncertainty, if you will, kind of like tracking a hurricane almost, right? So keep in mind, that's the spot that's going to be the most problematic for us, is going to be where that line falls. And it will make a difference on whether or not you're getting these blockbuster snow totals, or, and it's not any better if you get quite a bit of snow here the next few hours, and then a layer of ice on top of that, and then a layer of snow on top of that later. So that's how complex this is going to be. So that's 6 a.m. Let's advance a little more. Now we're getting to 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, this model likes to bring all rain up to Marion County. Okay, that's possible, but I think in this kind of scenario, with getting snow on the ground that we're doing here on this Saturday, which is the first piece of the winter storm, getting snow on the ground, I'm a little suspect that it's going to be that much of an overwhelming warm layer to warm you to rain. I've rarely seen that. I really have. I think the freeze and rain issue may get into Columbia and maybe Greene and Taylor and Marion, as I pointed out. Maybe that far north, but anywhere further north than that, it's a little iffy. But pure rain, I'm even more suspect on. So I think overall it's going to be an icing setup no matter how you look at it, or snow, right? But when we get into 9 o'clock in the morning, we're still in the thick of things. We're still in the heavier rate period, which again begins in a few hours, maxes out while you're asleep tonight. When you get up tomorrow morning, we're still in the max zone of greatest potential. We get toward midday Sunday. Another thing happens here. The flow above our head, instead of coming from the Gulf, allowing warmer air to flow in, it switches around to Canada. And as soon as that flip happens around lunch tomorrow, any area that's a mix is going to switch back over to snow. And if you've been snow the whole time, well, you'll just keep snowing, right? So the snow line will continue to advance back down to the south throughout the afternoon hours on Sunday to allow for all snow before ending Sunday night into Monday. I think the radar is going to be way more filled in than what this is showing. It never does well with the we call the comma head of a storm, the tail of a storm that kind of drags for a while. That tends to be a little more prolonged than what the models say. So I think this will be lasting all the way into Saturday or Sunday evening, excuse me. In fact, I think we'll continue to redevelop some of these bands all the way into Monday, early in the day. And then we'll finally be done with this, and then we'll have a chance to get ready for the next snow. You thought I was going to say thaw out. Nah, we're not going to thaw out. All right, here's the snow. I think it's a snow map max, right? Nope. Hold on one second. There it is. There it is. Okay, so some of you've already got what are your amounts? I mean, go back and look. What did y'all say? I mean, I've said a lot of things. Trust me, I can see your comments. But what did you really say? Just shy of an inch. Chuck says on YouTube there. I'm taking all my snacks to the store. All right. I'm gonna pull an all-nighter. That's what Marianne said. Where's your mounts at? Maybe it did. Man, y'all had that many comments. Oh my goodness. Donna Good? Are we related? 1.5 inches Valley Station, just under an inch into Memphis, Indiana. Thank you, Marianne. I saw your comment now. So you guys are about the same, right? About 1 to 2. That seems about the fair amount. But they're really going to ramp up between now and 11 o'clock news. So keep that in mind. You're welcome, Clay. Hope all is well. Okay, so this is the snowfall map. You've had a chance to digest it while I'm rambling. Yeah, you're going to go straight to the foot amount, right? I know. But it's worth mentioning here for you guys in Central and Southern Kentucky. We're thinking that the 4 to 6 inch range is what you're going to be picking up again. in the next few hours, and then also what you get on the other side of the sleet sandwich that you'll get for tomorrow afternoon. You'll get another 1 to 2 inches from that. So don't expect 4 to 6 between now and the sleet changeover that's happening here soon for you all. I'm talking about what you've gotten so far today and what you're going to get on the other side. I hope that makes sense. So this is a grand total of snowfall. Here's the other challenge that you all have that really the rest of the area does not have. And that is when we get the sleet sandwich, that is going to start to push down the snow you've gotten today so far. It'll compact it. So you've got to get out there and measure now this evening and write it down so you know how much you've gotten so far, and then measure again for the other side of the sandwich tomorrow afternoon. And then you'll have your snow total for this, because sleet is heavy, snow is light. This is a dry snow, so it'll weigh it down and compact it. So just for you all in the sleet zone, which will be, again, around the parkways, West Kentucky, Bluegrass Parkway, E-Town to Bardstown, that line and south, you'll be more in that zone where you'll have to get out there and measure a few times. But otherwise, your grand total of sleet and snow is what we're looking at, which will be drastically dropping off the more you travel north to south. I mean, it'll be dramatic cutoff because of what's happening on the radar already that we saw. So that's going to cut your totals down in a big way. But boy, it also means you ramp up in a big way, go in the other direction, heading into Louisville. And Louisville is going to be very weird. Again, that sleet snow line is going to be a pain because, as I mentioned, Bullitt County could get 6-7 inches of snow, something like that. And then you travel all the way into Shepherdsville and Brooks, and then you get into downtown Louisville. It could increase a good 6 inches just in that journey alone. That's a dramatic change you'll have. But once you get into the rest of the wave country, Indiana and 71 corridor, it's a very large area where a foot is likely. And we got the plus there for a reason, because we are fully expecting there to be higher amounts than 1 foot. In fact, I think there's a spot where you can get 16 inches, maybe even a few 20-inch totals can develop out of this. This is a major winter storm. This is a blockbuster setup here with a lot of moisture we don't normally get that feeds into Arctic air. You don't see this scenario very often. We read about it all the time. It's in books, and honestly, and when we go to school into meteorology, these are the kind of setups that you learn about in winter forecasting, but you don't really get a chance to experience them a lot in your career. This one is hitting a lot of meteorologists right now across the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, all the way into Texas. So a lot of people are getting experience on this one here. But this is a classic setup to overachieve on snowfall, because you're going to have a different type of snowfall rate because it's so cold and dry. The snow can get a little higher than what even the modeling sometimes says. So I will caution you on this forecast map, though, because this is still changing. I'm sure you've seen some changes and adjustments. I mean, they're relatively cosmetic on what we're doing on the changes. They're very minor, but I get it. I get it. If it's your town that's suddenly in a different category, you get mad or you get more excited. I don't know, whatever the case is. But those cosmetic changes are going to keep happening as we continue to take the radar trends and look at the different size of the flakes and look at the different radar data that we're getting. And as we get more confirmation of how this is lining up, we're going to react to that. We're here all night. We're here all weekend. So someone is here constantly looking at that, adjusting it, looking at it, and adjusting it. And we'll be on doing streams, and we're going to have the stream up all night tonight, so you guys can keep an eye on our maps as well. Okay? So I know you're going to ask this, could the 16 plus go down to Louisville? Someone's going to say it if you haven't already. It's possible if we don't go to sleet in Louisville. And I think Louisville could go to sleet. I'm not so that we're going to avoid it completely. But even if we did, I don't think the duration's very long. Maybe 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. We could mix with sleet, but I don't see us going full on sleet and it's over. I'm not convinced of that. I know the warm layer is a thorn in our side in winter forecasting. It usually overwhelms a winter storm and it busts a lot of systems, right? But this one's weird, all right? This one's really weird because this one had a piece to it that's been in advance of it that's here now, that arrived here this morning. If we didn't have this piece, this would be a different ballgame, but we do have the piece. So that complicates the forecast. We've got this layer of snow already here because the main winter storm that everyone's talking about hasn't officially again arrived. It's still in Texas. So that's the one that really kicks in. This is just an appetizer to get ready for the main course that's coming our way. So how did the two pieces get along? How did they interact? And that's what we're tracking here tonight. So there could still be adjustments. I'm not going to rule out we could move some of these higher amounts down, we could shift some of them up. But if there's anything I would stress, it's going to be a very tight gradient on where that cutoff is going to be on higher and lower. Now, before you get angry about that or upset, I don't know, there's a lot of emotions for some of you, but this is still a big snow. Even if we were to cut it down, you're still looking at 4+ inches, and 4 is a winter storm technically in our area. You're still getting a good snowstorm that would be a headline maker and still keep everybody off the roads this weekend. So it's still a big event. Now it's just a matter of how much are we going to exceed into the winter storm level here. You know what, snow lovers, you've got to give, a little bit there to the sleet gods. That's fine. We got plenty more to work with. All right. So it's not all bad news if you really want that bigger snow. But I get it. You want the higher end total. You want to be the star of the area and star of the country, right? You want that high end total. But I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Okay. I think it's on the map. That's step one. Get it on the map. Okay. What about ice? I changed the wording too, because we had like ice accretion. This is a little different than ice accretion would be. And what I mean by that is that ice accumulation in this setup is going to be more of ice that's going to form on your car, that would form on your driveway, the bushes, your railing of your porch, walking outside. This is the kind of ice that I'm talking about, of up to a quarter, maybe a ½ inch on our far southeast side. That can develop. And again, that'll be on top of the snow that you've received today. Now, ice accretion is more of it actually enveloping an object that is suspended in the air. So now we're talking about trees, power lines, that kind of stuff, that glistening that you see, right? That is possible in some areas, but it'll be a much lighter glaze because it looks like it's going to be heavy freezing rain. Heavy freezing rain has a really tough time on sticking to things. The drop moves too fast, so it just rolls off the branch, rolls off the power line, and then goes to the ground, hits. So because of that, the ice is a little different here. This is more of a ground ice than it is an elevated, if that makes sense at all. But no doubt it impacts everything, not only on travel, but trying to clean out your car, just trying to get out of this mess. A little bit more of a challenge for you all, because you're getting the sleet ice sandwich that some of us will not get. Snow, ice, snow. Some of the area, just all snow, which is going to be easier for us to take care of. All snow areas will be, because it's a matter of clearing it off and plowing, right? So, but down to the south, when you start to layer it up, it's much more complex. Okay, so after this, and I'll cover this, actually, hold on. Before I get to this, let me go back. Let me get to some of your questions, because I know you got some, and then we'll get into the second leg, what this winter storm is about. All right, fair enough? I was waiting for this question. Are we going to get Thundersnow? It's possible. We are still seeing in the short range data the potential for lightning, and that would be in the ice area and in the snow area. We're still getting a signal for lightning. So will you hit thunder? Maybe. It should be, if you're going to hear thunder, it'd be more of a, not the kind of crackling like a severe thunderstorm is when it rolls in. You're like, oh no, it's more of that rolling thunder. You'll see the flash probably in your window and like, somebody just take a picture of me? And then you realize, oh, wait a minute. No, it's not the paparazzi. It's, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about you all. Then it would be that rolling thunder that you'll see. Anytime you get thunder snow, which you're like, what is thunder snow? Thunder snow means that your snowfall rate certainly is over 1 inch an hour and likely will be 2 inches an hour. In some cases, when it's freezing rain or sleet, that means it is absolutely pouring on either one of those that will take place. Because we will get thunderstorms in middle Tennessee and south of there. In fact, there's even a severe outlook out in the deep south on the southern end of this whole thing. We're not in that one. I need a paparazzi. Yeah. The alert on the bottom of the screen. What's the alert on the bottom of the screen? Power outages? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, there probably are some that are being reported. The wind is not helping things at all, but the good news is we're not looking at a terribly windy event, and we're not looking at a wet snow right now. As we get into the overnight and that sleet line gets closer to us, we will have some ability to get more of a wet snow involved. And therefore, if you're looking to make a snowman out of this, you can't right now. But as we add more moisture content later tonight and Sunday, it'll be a little easier to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to let the sun hit the snowpack for a few days, and that's going to be tough this week the way it's looking. But the days we get the sun just hitting it, even if we're below freezing, as long as the sun's hitting the top of that, it'll create a little bit more of a icy layer on top, crunchy layer, if you will. That makes it a little easier to make a snowman and sled with and stuff. But it's also going to be dangerously cold. So I don't know if you really want to get out in this at all to even do that, which is no fun. Snow is supposed to be out playing in it and having fun, right? That's the best part. You go to Cherokee Park and then ride down the hill and, do all the sledding. Some of you go down to McNeely Lake. The snow is a little tougher to do. It will be a dry snow. So we got to give it a bit of time, and you got to wait till we get out of the deep freeze. The good news is we're going to be so cold for a while. This is not going anywhere for a while. You got plenty of time. This snow will be on the ground for at least 2 weeks. Could be longer, but at least 2 weeks we'll have this on the ground. Any snow drifts, Matt is asking. In some cases, yes. Typically, we don't get into that until you get over a foot. Then you start hearing those reports of drifts. But yes, especially Sunday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, we get that colder wind that wraps around the system. The wind will be a little bit stronger. And if there's going to be any drifting that will happen, it will happen then. That's where you get some of these deeper areas of snow because the wind pushes it around because it is a dry snow. We are talking about hot tubs in the snow. How did that get started? I've always heard that. That's like the cool thing ever to be in a hot tub when it's snowing. Apparently ice forms on you while you're just sitting there. I don't know if that sounds good or not, but but then again, I don't have a hot tub, so maybe I'm just jealous. Okay. Everyone good on the snow amount? I tell you, type 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 if you understand the snow map for your area. Do you get how this is all playing out? I hope it makes sense, and I hope that everybody understands we're just going to be going through the motions tonight and tomorrow, taking it hour by hour. All right, yeah, you guys know how this works. You've been on SnowTALK. All right, 3 plus 2, some 5s. Waiting for the other numbers to come in. There's always that one person. Hey, Jared. Hello to Kristen. Graham's on. Hello, Norman. Everyone's got some 3 plus 2s and 5s. Good. All right. I just want to make sure we're clear. Okay. What is next on the second leg of this? And we'll circle back around to more of your questions in the radar. And that is the cold, extreme cold. In fact, it is going to be dangerous cold coming our way. Cold weather advisory is out. It technically is an extreme cold weather advisory. I don't really personally like the term cold weather advisory because it sounds like, oh, yeah, it's cold. It's winter. This is extreme cold. This is like another level. All right. But it's the same as with winter weather. Advisory is kind of like one category below the winter storm warning, right? So same issue with the cold weather here. Advisory is initially going to be the lower level, but I think we're going to go to eventually an extreme cold warning. And we already have that in Emmonsville and west of us. We are having extreme cold weather watch that's out for Carroll County into Cincinnati. So I think it's inevitable this is going to be a warning. This will all be upgraded. I think it's just a matter right now they're trying to figure out how much the snowpack will be and how deep it'll be. But I think the stage is set for very, very cold setup that's going to really make this brutal. Here are some of the numbers we're getting for Monday morning. These will trend colder. I don't think these are low enough, but you get the idea. I think it's going to be about 5 to maybe 10 below zero. The only thing that would keep us from getting to that point would be the lack of clearing, right? So if this system's kind of dragging its feet Sunday night all the way into Monday morning, which I think it probably will, it'll be harder to get a clear sky, a little better opportunity to clear the sky out here in Evansville. Maybe tougher here. So for Monday morning, yeah, okay, that's fair to do the advisory level. But by Tuesday morning, not so much. 15 to 25 below for a wind chill. Could be lower, but I think that's a fair range for now to go with. You can get frostbite and hypothermia rapidly in this kind of setup. Dangerous cold stuff, guys, right? So after this moves by, we're not done with the snow. No. We have another clipper that's going to be diving down as we head into Wednesday night into Thursday morning. This one's going to be a high ratio snow that'll drop down. What I mean by that is that it's a light snow overall, but because it's so cold, you're going to get more bang for your buck out of it. This could be another 1, 2, 3 inches that may fall. So if you get shortchanged tonight and tomorrow because of sleet, the weather's going to make it up for you maybe and replace it and help you out. It'll answer the customer service line. It'll deliver for Wednesday night. But it would only aggravate the road conditions. So any improvement we try to gain here Monday and Tuesday, but with those kind of temperatures, that's going to be really hard. But we'll try to recover. But this will just set us back a bit Wednesday night and Thursday morning. So kids, you're loving this, and teachers are too, because this is not looking good for school here for a while. If I were to read between the lines. The way I say we don't control that. But you get it. Mookie, the other channel says 12 plus. That's what I said for Louisville 12 plus, Mookie. But I think it's not that definitive. I think it's Louisville Metro is big. So we're trying to be a little more descriptive than that. That it's going to be a high range just from one end of the county to the other, to be honest with you. But absolutely fit or more is possible in the Louisville Metro. Absolutely. So everyone should be, to be honest with you, everyone's, I think, is on the same page. I can't imagine why there may be some variations because of the sleet snow line, but meteorologically speaking, this is the same setup, and we all understand that. So hopefully you're being kind to all the meteorologists that you know, because this one's a pain. It's a pain. But we're going to get through it. We're watching it. This is supposed to be our off day too. We're here trying to make sure that we get this covered and doesn't have any sneaky attacks here on us. So we're watching hour by hour. All right. It moves on by. And then after that, we get into next weekend. Too early to get into the weeds on that. I think the issue is just a matter of the angle of attack of another piece that'll drop in. But boy, it looks similar on the idea of a piece rolling off the Rockies and a low coming in from off the Gulf and how they interact. I don't know yet how this is going to look, but I think it's something worth watching. We'll get to it. We'll get to it later. All right, here's the 10-day, and I'll get to your questions. Again, we're looking at the deep freeze. 5 on Monday. 5 on Monday. Very, very, very cold. Actual numbers below zero. We've already had people that have had several of their homes. The pipes have already frozen. And so please keep that in mind. The pipes, you're going to have to probably do this on a nightly basis for about a week. But believe it or not, it doesn't, the consequence of trying to repair a home with a frozen pipe scenario or busted pipes, a lot cheaper to just drip the pipe and avoid that the best you can and try to leave those cabinet doors open. Okay. Thanks, Amanda. Appreciate it. Lori, my bones hurt. Me too. Me too, Lori. But I think it's because I'm just getting old. But yeah, me too. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Brady. I don't know how I'm able to read all this. I can barely read a comment. Brandon, we can comment on the 0Z NAM. Shows deformation band correctly over the north, over the sleet, but because the heavy snow is near Bloomington, Indiana. But if you go on the analysis radar type on the NAM, where you can see the heavy snow over the counties bordering the Ohio River, but it puts the heaviest bands of snow in Bloomington. I have not looked at the 0Z NAM. It is it can have a warm bias, yet at the same time, it does better with warm air. So it's kind of mixed feelings with the NAM. But again, I wouldn't get too worked up on modeling right now. Everything is going to be short range radar interpretation. Don't get caught up on model runs. We're past that point. All right. They're great to look at as a tool to see a trend of something. Maybe. Yeah, it's fair. The HERB model is probably the only one, to be honest with you, that you can put in that camp because it updates every hour. That one's at least fair. But all the others, yeah, unfortunately, the updates are just take too long to kind of clarify. All right. So there you go. What'd you say, Cameron? Don't you love us weather people? I love you all. You weather people are fun. You're fun. I love your comments and how y'all talk. Don't say names. Don't do that. Y'all be nice to each other. Come on. This is a nerdy blog. This is what I do every day. I know some of you have never watched SnowTALK probably ever in your life, but this is what I've been doing 25 years. All right. 25 years we've been talking about this stuff. So this is normal. I love it. This is the place where you can all talk and let your meteorological thoughts flow out. Fair enough. Let me get back to the snow map. Let me show that to you all while I'm answering some of your questions, because that's probably a big chunk of them, right? And we'll get to the radar real quick. Let's see. What'd you say, Jordan? I hope the little one's doing well, by the way. One of the most impressive winter weather stretches in recent memory with the cold and snow. You're right. I think so. Well, I don't necessarily remember this because I was little, but the 77, 78 winter seems to line up kind of similar. I mean, one of those was a blizzard, right? So, I mean, it had the wind, but as far as brutal impacts that just took forever to get out of, that January of 78 was pretty rough, and that still holds. It's number 2, I believe, in our snowiest ever. It was about 50 inches for that season. We are now, given the snow we've had today, we're over a foot now for the season, and we average 13. So we're almost past the mark of an entire winter, and we are only in phase 1 of this winter storm. Aren't y'all excited? This is a snow lover's winter for sure. Now, again, I love snow, but I just wish you can get out in it and enjoy it. You know, when you can't, then it's kind of a bummer. You just got to look at it through the window. Brian, will you show the current HER? I can do that for you. Hold on one second. Give me a moment. And I've got to load it up. You ask and I shall receive. Or you shall receive. All right, here it is. Just updated. There's 11 o'clock. Again, that heavier band is going to form right there. It'll actually be multiple bands. And that's where we're going to get into the really heavy stuff. When this starts taking off tonight, and that low, as soon as it rolls out of Texas, you get an immediate reaction downstream over us. It's immediate reaction that takes place. So you start to get the heavier bands. But the consequence of that is going to be that warmer nose. And you see sleet being reported in Stanford, Kentucky. You're going to get more sleet reports as we evolve through the night, and that pushes up. Right there on the edge of that, oh boy, that is your heaviest of snow. All right, here it is at 2 a.m. Y'all can see this, right? All right, here we go. Shelbyville, Shepherdsville, and northwest of Hardinsburg. Keep going, 3 a.m. Keep going, 4 a.m. Oh, did it stop? It may have stopped in Bullitt County. Let's go another frame. Oh. Another frame. Oh. Uh-oh. Mark wanted to see this. Crosses over in Jefferson. Still in Jefferson, 8 o'clock. Oh, it's gone now. All right, good. It's gone. 9 o'clock, it's over. So again, any type of sleet that tries to get involved in this is not going to last very long. It's just a brief rise overhead to allow that to happen. But for those of you south of Louisville, it may linger just enough to start shutting down some of the higher end totals of your forecast. We've already accounted for that in our forecast. Just FYI, I doubt you'll lose more than what we've got placed. If that changes, we'll let you know. But we've already tried to account for that. And then just keeps on snowing, keeps on snowing, keeps on snowing, keeps on snowing. And then again, everyone gets colder for Sunday afternoon, and that's where the model stops. And that's where it changes it back over to another burst of another couple of inches in the afternoon. And that's how you get the snow sleet sandwich that will come into play. Let's see. Patrick, UPS soundings and data. We cannot pull that directly for ourselves. The FAA does not allow that, but the Weather Service is always very kind to us, and they will send out a note to all of us here in the media as soon as they get that data and let us know. But you got to have flights. And I don't know if there's many flights right now. So that's the other problem. If we hear anything, we'll let you know. But I don't think there's going to be enough flights to get a lot of data here. But we'll have something maybe. That may be a topic more at 11 o'clock tonight. You see the alerts about it's just an update. The Weather Service every 4 hours roughly, they have to update the winter storm warning. So every time they update it and type it and hit send, it reissues it out to everything on our system. So it's not a change necessarily. It's just an update to let everybody know it's still in effect. So that's why Wavy will show it every time, just because of their scheduling they have to do. Mm-hmm. What'd you say, Chris? I don't know. How many days do you think we'll be off of school in Louisville? Oh, I'm not falling for that, Chris. That's probably going to be a lot. But I'm not going to fall for that, Chris. I'm not going to fall for it. In case you're listening. What's the chance of road conditions? That's the thing. Everyone's trying to figure out when do we recover from this. That's going to be up to really road crews, really how well they can handle it and recover. Otherwise, it'll take some time. Uh, don't expect any dramatic change in your neighborhood. I think that's the one thing you got to keep in mind. Most of your neighborhoods are not on the snow route, so unless your neighbors or somebody in the neighborhood is going to help out and have a plow and try to take care of the roads for you, you're not going to see a lot of change for a long time. So that's going to be the toughest part, because especially for schools, because they have to make sure they get the buses to the neighborhoods to get to the bus stops. All right, that's going to be a tough challenge. We saw that last year. And number two, it's going to be so cold with the dangerous wind chills, they wouldn't be able to have school anyway. So there's a lot of factors that it's going to be just a rough setup for schools. But I got a feeling this one's such a well-known system. I'm hoping that the teachers took care of all the kids, I'm sure, last week and got them all caught up on what they need to know for assignments. They probably gave them homework. Sorry, but they probably gave them homework to take care of too. Angela, where's Carson? Carson's here. He needed a break for a moment. We're running to death, so he needed a moment to relax. So he's here. He'll be on at 11. I'll be out in the weather garden again. Yay. Out in the snow, but he is here. But you need a break. That's a lot of talking, guys. It's a lot of talking, right? I mean, you guys know we've been on all day, right? Somebody's been on. So it takes a lot out of you. So, and we have more to go. So we're trying to all space out so we all have long days of talking. Is the pink freeze and rain? That is sleet and freeze and rain. The model doesn't really interpret that very well that you're looking at there. That image, I thought I'd load up the snow map, sorry. But that image doesn't load very well, so I'm not going to show that right now. But it just says mix. But we know that you're not going to go snow to freeze and rain. It'll be layered. The atmosphere doesn't go that sharp of a cutoff. It goes snow, sleet, and then freeze and rain. So that's how it'll be stacked out. So in many cases in our viewing area in wave country, most of it's going to be an issue of sleet getting involved. But I still think if you are in that, Adair, Green, Taylor, Marion, be aware you may get some icing and freezing rain that may develop later on in the system for the phase 2 of it. That's the area that I think is a little more prime as it stands now. We'll take it hour by hour. Okay. Any other questions I can do on this one? Everyone's good? Everyone's good? I mean, you're all right. Everyone good mentally? Yeah, y'all set? I mean, what's the end show to watch right now? Is anyone binge watching TV shows? I mean, you're watching the blog right now, but you got your show set, right? Surely you got a couple seasons of The Pit. Have y'all watched The Pit? I like The Pit. I think that's a really good show. Reminds me of the ER days. But there's a lot of good shows to watch. But now you get all the time to watch. Unless you got to drive and get to work somehow. How many Twix is needed for this storm? Diane says. This is a 10 out of 10. Diane, it's a 10 out of 10 on Twix. And you're like, what is he talking about Twix for? When I first got here to Wave, I was trying to figure out a way to do a snow meter. And I did a different version. Well, actually, I was doing it was a different way of doing live blogs back in the day. But I did a blog update, and I told everyone that this sugar rush, I was eating a Twix bar. I said the sugar rush from the Twix bar is causing me to hold down the higher end number on the snow accumulation map because I got a sugar rush. And everyone kept saying, eat more Twix, eat more Twix. And it was kind of like, at the time, I guess it would have been a meme, but a joke then. But anyway, then suddenly I was showing up to the station. I was getting all these boxes of Twix in the front of the station. People were sending me Twix. Like, we want more snow. Please have the sugar rush. So everyone's sending me. I had so many Twix, I could not get into my refrigerator for a long time. There was a lot. All right. So no one send me Twix, please. FYI. So I just decided to go ahead and do a Twix meter then, using Twix bars of how many on a scale of 10. So that's where the Twix meter, Twix scale came from. I haven't done it in a long time because I was trying to get Twix the sponsor. They didn't want to sponsor, I guess. I don't know. They didn't respond. That's fine. I still eat them. Okay, there's your map there, guys, where we got the, again, foot plus is in the Louisville Metro, but there is a sharp cutoff the more south you go in the area. Higher amounts to north Indiana, even lighter where the mix or the sleet sandwich comes into play. But reminder again, you're going to get snow on the other side of the sleet. So that's the grand total of before and after, and some sleet there in the middle. All right, I think it's fair enough where to leave it today, guys. I'm going to run. I got to go talk to Carson, actually. And we're going to start to discuss the 11 o'clock and how we're going to handle the snow map. See if there's any changes we need to make for tonight at 11 o'clock. So I will let you know how that's going to play out. Fair enough? All right, you guys are awesome. It's so nice to talk to you on a Saturday night. I appreciate it. Now, Kevin and Tawana and Carson will be here coming up for tomorrow. So make sure to tune in. Of course, we'll be on at 11, so don't forget that right before SNL comes on for tonight. And we'll have this streaming all during the night, so you'll have all the information you need to know on social media and on the Wave Weather app and on our streaming channel, Wave Weather Now. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, stay warm, and let's see how this goes.